The old saloon stood at the edge of town, a place where stories bubbled up like the frothy beer served at the bar. Its creaky wooden floors whispered secrets of long-ago celebrations and late-night dances. Dust motes floated in the gentle glow of lanterns hanging from the ceiling, casting a warm, inviting light that felt like a hug on a chilly evening. Along the walls, shelves sagged under the weight of dusty bottles and forgotten artifacts, remnants of a vibrant history. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and a hint of smoke from the fireplace, where many tales had been spun over drinks and laughter. Lively music once filled the space, echoing off the walls as patrons twirled and clinked glasses, lost in the joy of the moment. In its prime, the saloon was alive with chatter. The ping of coins dropped on the bar, and the cheerful melodies played by that old piano in the corner. It was a place where strangers became friends, and every night felt like a celebration. But now, an air of quietness surrounded it. Yet, even in its stillness, you could feel a heartbeat pulsing within those old walls, a reminder of the vibrant life that once thrived here. The saloon held memories like treasures, waiting for someone to breathe life back into them. And if one listened closely, you might just hear echoes of laughter and familiar notes longing to be played again. In the far corner of the saloon, bathed in the golden light of the lanterns, stood the old piano. Its rich mahogany finish gleamed softly, though time had worn it down. The keys, once bright ivory, were now chipped and dull, each one telling a story of countless melodies played with love and passion. This piano was not just an instrument. It was the heart of the saloon. When Clara played, her fingers danced gracefully over the keys, filling the room with songs that made everyone smile and tap their feet. The cheerful notes floated through the air like butterflies, wrapping around patrons as they laughed and shared their dreams. As she played, people would gather around, their faces lighting up with joy. Friends would sway together, couples would twirl, and even strangers found themselves united by the magic of music. The piano created moments that turned into cherished memories, first dances, secret confessions, and wild celebrations, all woven together by its enchanting sound. But now, with Clara gone and silence reigning in the saloon, the piano stood still. Dust began to settle on its keys, and its stories remained unheard. Yet deep inside its wooden frame lay echoes of those joyful times, waiting patiently for someone to unlock them again. It seemed to whisper softly to anyone who entered, "I still remember how to play. Will you join me?" Clara was a young woman with a spirit as bright as the summer sun. With a cascade of chestnut hair and sparkling green eyes, she easily captivated everyone around her. Growing up in a small town where dreams often felt distant, Clara found solace in music. The piano, with its inviting keys, became her escape and her passion. Each time she played, she poured her heart into the notes, transforming the saloon into a place of magic. Her dreams reached far beyond the saloon's wooden walls. Clara envisioned herself performing on grand stages, sharing her music with the world. But for now, the saloon was her stage, and she filled it with joy. As she played, her melodies made worries melt away. Patrons were drawn to her music, their spirits lifted with each cheerful song. Clara had a special gift. She could weave stories into her tunes, and everyone felt connected to her melodies, as if they were part of something bigger. Working tirelessly to push past her limits, Clara often practiced late into the night, hoping to perfect each song. She dreamed of dancing lights and applause, wanting to touch hearts beyond her little town. Yet in those quiet moments at the piano, she also cherished the simple joys, the laughter shared with friends and the warmth of community that filled the saloon. As she played on those dusty evenings, it was clear to all that Clara was not just a musician. She was a beacon of hope and connection. The day Clara had to leave town was heavy with unspoken words and bittersweet emotions. The sun rose slowly, casting a soft golden light over the saloon, illuminating the dusty corners where laughter had once echoed. Clara stood at the piano, her fingers lightly grazing the keys, as if trying to capture the last notes of her time there. She knew this was goodbye, and her heart ached with every passing moment. Friends gathered in the saloon, their faces reflecting a mix of pride and sadness. They knew Clara was chasing her dreams, but that didn't lessen the weight of her departure. As she looked around, she saw familiar faces. Her best friend Sarah, who always danced to her tunes. Old Mr. Thompson, who would often share stories from his youth, and the barmaid who had served countless drinks while humming along to her songs. Each smile held a tear, and each laugh was tinged with sorrow. As Clara stepped forward to say farewell, she felt tears welling in her eyes. "Thank you for all the memories," she said, her voice trembling. "You've all been my family." With one last look at the piano, she promised to return and share her music again. The townspeople clapped gently, but it was clear that the saloon would never feel the same without her. As she walked away, the magic of her melodies lingered in the air, a promise that she would always carry them with her, no matter where life took her. The saloon felt starkly different without Clara, as if a vibrant painting had faded to gray. The once lively space now echoed with silence, broken only by the occasional creak of the wooden floors. The piano stood in the corner, its keys untouched and covered in a thin layer of dust, mourning the absence of Clara's cheerful melodies. Regulars filtered in, but their faces were clouded with sadness. Old Mr. Thompson sat alone at the bar, nursing his drink while glancing at the piano, hoping for just one note to break the stillness. It was hard for him to imagine a night without Clara's music filling the room, lifting spirits and sparking laughter among friends. The warmth of her presence was sorely missed. It seemed as if the very soul of the saloon had left with her. Sarah would often lean against the bar, reminiscing about how she used to dance joyfully during Clara's performances. "It was never just a song. It was magic," she would say to anyone who would listen. Yet now, conversations felt strained and laughter came less frequently. The clinking of glasses sounded hollow without the accompaniment of Clara's joyful tunes. Even new patrons who wandered in could feel the void left behind. They sensed that something was missing, the spark that transformed an ordinary night into an extraordinary memory. As days turned into weeks, the saloon grew quieter, and those who remembered Clara held on tightly to the fading echoes of her music, wishing for just one more song to brighten their lives again. As the weeks stretched on, the absence of Clara's music became a heavy weight in the saloon. Yet, among the regulars and even some new faces, stories began to circulate, whispers of the past that seemed to linger in the air like the sweet notes of her melodies. Some patrons claimed that if they listened closely, they could still hear Clara playing softly on the old piano, as though her spirit had woven itself into the very fabric of the instrument. On quiet nights, when the saloon was particularly still, you could almost hear the faint echoes of her laughter and the cadence of her songs filling the room. Sarah would sit at the bar, closing her eyes and leaning in, as if trying to catch a whisper from Clara herself. "It's like she's here with us," she would tell anyone willing to listen, a hopeful smile touching her lips. Old Mr. Thompson nodded in agreement, recalling how Clara's music once had the power to chase away shadows and bring light to their lives. Even newcomers to the saloon felt an unusual presence when they approached the piano. They sensed that this old instrument held secrets of joy and connection, waiting to be unlocked again. As they gathered around it, some would place their hands gently on the keys, hoping to awaken the magic of Clara's spirit. The saloon may have felt empty, but its soul remained vibrant in those moments, as if Clara was inviting them all to dance once more. On a stormy night, dark clouds rolled in like a thick blanket, and the wind howled outside the old saloon. Rain pelted the windows, creating a rhythm that matched the heavy heart of the building. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with nostalgia as the regulars huddled close, sharing memories of Clara while lightning flashed outside, casting eerie shadows across the room. As the storm raged on, an unexpected figure stepped through the door, soaked to the bone but with a familiar spark in his eyes. It was Tom, an old friend of Clara's who had traveled far and wide, but always held a special place in his heart for her and the saloon. The moment he entered, the air shifted. It felt as though Clara's spirit had stirred at his arrival. Tom shook off the rain and caught sight of the old piano in the corner. He felt a wave of emotion wash over him, knowing it had been Clara's refuge. As he approached, he could almost hear her laughter mingling with the sound of raindrops. Sitting down at the dusty keys, he hesitated for a moment, then began to play a tune he remembered from years ago, one that Clara had taught him. The first few notes rang out, filled with longing and remembrance. The patrons turned, surprised yet captivated, as the music blended with the storm outside. In that moment, it felt as if Clara was there with them once more, her spirit woven into every note, inviting them to dance in the rain and remember the magic she had brought to their lives. As the storm raged outside, and Tom's fingers danced over the keys of the piano, something magical began to happen. The air crackled with energy, and the notes he played seemed to awaken the spirit trapped within the old instrument. Suddenly, in a moment that felt surreal, the piano began to play on its own, echoing Clara's beautiful melodies, songs filled with joy, laughter, and love. The patrons froze, their eyes widening in disbelief as the hauntingly sweet music filled the saloon. It was as if Clara herself had stepped back into the room, her spirit flowing through each note. The melodies swirled around them, wrapping everyone in a warm embrace of nostalgia. Old Mr. Thompson wiped away a tear as memories flooded his mind, dancing with his late wife, celebrating milestones, and laughing until his sides hurt. Sarah closed her eyes tightly, swaying gently as Clara's familiar tunes caressed her heart. Laughter and whispers spread through the crowd, blending with the piano's enchanting sounds. Even newcomers felt the depth of emotion in the air as they listened, sensing the powerful connection that Clara had forged among them. The saloon, once filled with heavy silence, now vibrated with life and love, reminding everyone that while Clara may be gone, her music would never truly fade away. As lightning flashed outside, illuminating the saloon for a brief moment, it felt like Clara was dancing along with them again, inviting each person to join in, a celebration of life, friendship, and memories intertwined through her timeless melodies. As the enchanting melodies of Clara's music filled the saloon, Tom felt a surge of inspiration. He stepped away from the piano for just a moment, and with a nod from the patrons, he invited them to join him, creating a circle around the old instrument that held so many memories. With shared smiles and laughter, they felt the warmth of connection in that moment. Sitting back down at the piano, Tom closed his eyes and let his fingers glide across the keys, playing along with the lingering notes that still seemed to echo in the air. Clara had always encouraged him to let music flow from his heart, and now he could feel her spirit guiding him. Each note he played brought back visions of her bright smile and the joy they had shared together. The saloon transformed into a vibrant scene as patrons sang along softly, their voices weaving together like threads in a tapestry. They were no longer just individuals. They were connected by their memories of Clara and the music that had once united them all. As Tom played, he could see flashes of Clara dancing in the glow of lantern light, her laughter ringing out like a melody. In this beautiful moment, the past and present blended seamlessly. Tom realized that through this music, not only was Clara remembered but a new bond among friends was being forged, a promise to keep her spirit alive in their hearts and in every note played on that treasured piano. The magic was not lost. It blossomed anew through each shared song, reminding everyone that while Clara may be gone, she would never be forgotten. As the last melody faded into the night, a profound silence settled over the saloon, yet it was filled with an unmistakable warmth. The patrons lingered, their hearts brimming with a mixture of nostalgia and hope. Clara's spirit was alive in every corner of the room and in each person's memory. The piano, once silent and forgotten, now stood as a testament to her legacy, a legacy that would echo through time. Every time the keys were pressed and her melodies were played, Clara would be there, reminding everyone of the joy she brought into their lives. This beautiful instrument had become more than just wood and strings. It was a vessel for memories, the happy moments shared among friends, the laughter that spilled forth during joyful nights, and even the quiet tears shed during farewells. As stories of Clara spread through the town, they became intertwined with memories anew. Children who hadn't known her began to visit the saloon, captivated by tales of her music. They would sit wide-eyed listening to older patrons recount how Clara's fingers danced across those very keys and brought light into dark times. The saloon had transformed from a place of longing to one of celebration. celebrating not just Clara's life, but also the bonds formed through her music. Each new song played would keep her spirit alive while weaving together old and new memories into a vibrant tapestry of love and connection. And so, with every note, Clara's legacy continued to flourish, echoing through generations as a reminder that true music never really fades. It simply waits for someone to play it again.